Play a song.
Very nice.
Dandelions, they're my favorite flowers in the sunshine or during a shower. Dandelions, they be popping up everywhere. But they don't care. Dandelions, they never take a vacation. They always popping up without invitation. Dandelions, there's always enough to share. Well, I went to the store where the gardeners go to buy me some dandelion seeds. The man behind the counter said, "Son, don't you know? You don't have to plant them. They grow like a weed." Wow! Dandelions, they don't have to be planted. Why does everyone take them for granted? Dandelions, they're as special as you and me. So you wake up in the morning, you're feeling kind of low. Your get up and go is gone. You need some vitamins, some remedies, some tonic or some tea. Well, look out in your lawn. You got dandelions by the bunch or the bowlful. Eat them all up, they'll make you feel soulful. Dandelions, they're special as you and me. Dandelions, they're good for your liver. Eat them all up, they make you jump up and shiver. Dandelion, they'll make a long liver out of you. Dandelions, blow those seeds and make wishes for money, world peace, or lots of sweet kisses. Dandelions, they'll make your wishes come true. Well, I found that song on a children's tape by Lisa Atkinson, and then I added the medicinal verses to it because, you know, when we can talk about dandelions, we need to talk about the whole thing. So, all right.
Hello from Herb TV. My name is Dave Lalazerne. Just about now, many of you are probably wondering what to do about all those dandelions that are starting to pop up in your yards and in your gardens. Well, today I hope to give you some ideas about what you can do with this wonderfully versatile plant. It has many medicinal and nutritional values that will make this weed one of the most useful plants that you will ever know. Let's start out by listening to Rose Barlow as she talks about the wonderful uses of the dandelion.
Okay, so we've got different parts of the dandelion. We've got the roots, and the roots are edible, but they're very bitter. They're probably even bitterer than the leaves are. So I mostly just grind and roast the roots. That's mainly what I do with them. Just kind of plunge them around.
Preparing roasted dandelion root is actually quite easy. After digging up the roots, they need to be thoroughly washed with clean water.
The water's going to get pretty muddy. Is this pile that you've already gone through?
No.
Do them.
The clean roots are then cut by hand into smaller chunks.
Splash them around. They'll cook down. And
These chunks are then chopped in a food processor and spread on a tray. They should be slow roasted in a 250 to 300 degree oven for 2 to 3 hours, just until they are a dark chocolate brown color. The oven door should be cracked to release the moisture.
Really good.
it smells a lot better when they're roasting. They actually smell kind of chocolatey or something. They get this really amazing aroma that you would not expect from dandelion root. So,
Then you can brew with boiling water and enjoy.
I was at somebody's house that had made pickles out of them. She had sliced them into little slices and put them in vinegar, and they were actually really good. Like the vinegar seemed to cut the bitter. And I have tried like stir frying them, mixing them into a stir fry and putting them in soups, but really just roasting them has been the best way for me. And then once I have the roasted coffee, I do all kinds of things with the coffee. Like you can make mocha stuff and, you know, all kinds of recipes with that. One of the tricks with dandelion is de-bittering them. And herbalists have all kinds of conversations about what's the best way to get the bitter out of the dandelion without losing the nutrients. And people have all different methods. Vinegar seems to help cut the bitter, so making pickles or the old timers, when they made greens, they would put a splash of vinegar on their greens, and I think that was to help cut the bitter. Some people like to sweeten them. That the sweet tends to distract from the bitter. And one of the ways that I de-bitter the leaves is by putting them in boiling water and just letting the bitter go into the water, but then I'm leaching some of the nutrients that way. But that seems to be the easiest way, and I can do big quantities of greens that way, freeze them. Everybody loves them. I'm sure enough of the nutrients are still in there that it's still worth doing. So the greens are a main staple for me. I use them in all kinds of recipes. Once I have them cooked down, anything that you put spinach in, I can replace dandelion. So I just go through my cookbooks and find spinach recipes and substitute dandelion greens. Like I have a dandelion lasagna in there that we're gonna pop in the oven when we get inside that I made. That was from a spinach lasagna recipe. I take the raw leaves and I put them in the food processor and I make salad dressings because the vinegar in the dressing cuts the bitter. So I have a dandelion vinaigrette in there that we're going to try that has, like, you wouldn't believe how many greens are in that jar when you see it. I use the buds. Sometimes when I'm harvesting the roots, I'll cut the roots off, I'll cut the greens off, and I'll have all these little buds that kind of fall on the counter while I'm processing them. I pick all these up and I put them in a little bowl. You can make pickles with these. I like to add them to soups. I have a recipe for a split pea dandelion bud soup where I put in big handfuls of these buds. I've sauteed them in butter. They're not as bitter as the leaves. They're one of the lesser bitter parts of the plant. You can get them when they're little like this down at the base, or you can wait till they rise up on the stems and just go around and pick them off the stems. They'll be a little bigger that way. So I use the buds for all kinds of things too. People might want to. And then the other part that I eat a lot of is the flowers. I harvest lots of flowers, gallons and gallons, sometimes even a bucket full of flowers every year. Hi, Carol. And I make a dandelion syrup. I cook down the dandelions, flowers. Actually, it uses sugar, so it's kind of my junk food dandelion. But it cooks down into this beautiful, it's like honey, and it's really delicious. And so I use that whenever I make any kind of dandelion desserts. I sweeten it with the dandelion syrup. I use the dandelion flowers in all kinds of baking recipes. You can pull the petals out of the flowers and mix them into batters. So I mix them into pancake batter, I mix them into muffin batter. I've made dandelion cornbread, and I have a dandelion cake inside that I put flowers in. It's actually a carrot cake recipe that I substituted dandelion petals for the carrots. And there's like 2 cups of petals in that cake. You would not believe how much is in there. And when you eat it, it's wonderful. It's really delicious. I like to sprinkle the flower petals on salads. You know, they make the salads real pretty. So, yeah. So those are the different parts of the dandelion. Every part is edible. Every part kind of has its own personality and its own ways of using it. And you can just experiment forever once you get the hang of.
After Rose's talk, we enjoyed quite a dandelion feast. My plate included broccoli topped with dandelion leaf vinaigrette, dandelion lasagna, dandelion greens with a vinegar bacon dressing, and dandelion flower cake.
This is a very rare and mysterious plant, one of my favorites. Dandelion is known in its scientific name is Terahaxum officinale. And the officinal name for the species refers to the fact that dandelion was a part of the official U.S. pharmacopoeia. So it's an official medicine. 150 years ago, when we relied solely on plants for medicine. One of my favorite herbalists, David Winston, calls dandelion the liver dredger. So it's an excellent tonic for the liver and helps to stimulate healthy digestion. Any part of the plant can be used. In the spring, when dandelion is in full bloom, we gather the blossoms and we will tear them apart and put them on a salad, or you can use them whole in baked goods like muffins or waffles, pancakes, cornbread. That's a great way to use the flowers. David Winston also spoke about the lutein in dandelion flowers, which is the yellow pigment, which is excellent for the eyes. So that's another benefit of using the dandelion flowers. In the fall, we gather the roots of the dandelion and we make a vinegar from the roots, which we use as a digestive tonic.
Finally, I want to show you how to make one of my favorites, dandelion wine. I have fond memories of going out into the field with my grandpa when I was just a kid to pick dandelion flowers to make the wine. Pick just the blooms, leaving on the green sepals, but getting rid of the stems. Well, here I am back in my kitchen now, and I've got a nice stainless steel 12-quart container that I'm going to use to make my wine. And I put my 4 to 5 quarts of nice dandelion heads that I picked this morning in here. And I have some cheesecloth, which we'll be using to cover it after we get done. The next step is to pour some boiling water over this bunch of dandelion heads. It should completely cover the dandelion heads. Then cover the crock with a cheesecloth. Set aside and stir daily for 3 days. On the 4th day, strain the blossoms from liquid. Just drain out a little bit, squeeze it out. Get some more of that good dandelion juice in here. And now you can prepare the juice from the oranges and the lemons and cut the rinds up. So we can add them to our dandelion liquid. The orange all sliced up. Lemon and orange slices. And 3 pounds of sugar here. Gotta give those yeasts some food to eat, you know. Cook this mixture for 30 to 60 minutes and then return the liquid to the crock. Add the reserved juices and the lemon juice that we saved. And after the liquid has a chance to cool to body temperature, soften the yeast in some water, spread it on a piece of toast, and float the toast in the crock. Cover again and let the mixture sit for 2 more days. After 2 days, strain the mixture again, removing the rinds and the toast and the yeast. That comes through. And return the liquid to the crock after you're done straining it. Let this liquid settle for another day. On the following day, use a funnel and cheesecloth to filter the liquid into clean bottles and cork lightly. Scooping from the tap out of the crack. Put the bottles aside in a dark room and don't drink until the winter solstice. Well, I hope I gave you some ideas today about what you could do with the dandelion other than just picking it up and throwing it out in the garbage heap. I think it's a wonderful plant. Certainly one of my favorite herbs.
Dandelions, they're my favorite flowers in the sunshine or during a shower. Dandelion, they be popping up everywhere.